Om Sri Ganeshaya Namah. Om Sri Saraswati Namah. Om Sri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namah. Namaskar. It is my privilege once again to be part of this most important conference. I thank the organizers for the opportunity. Today, my subject is the pride of a Hindu priest. All of us who are in this gathering, who are priests, must be reminded of the privileged position that we hold in our society. As such, our role and responsibilities must be always uppermost in our minds, and we must consider them to be the gifts from God and a gift that is nurtured by our relationship with our community. We must take great personal pride in our role and duties. We must never take it as a casual thing that I'm a Pandit and no, I do not have to dress properly, or I do not have to speak properly, or I do not have to adhere to any kind of discipline. My role must be my existence. My role as a priest must be one that I must realize that I am in a position to influence the lives of others positively or negatively. We must be of that nature that others will want to listen to us, and they want to seek the benefit of our knowledge and wisdom. And on the point of knowledge and wisdom, all Pandits must know clearly the difference between the two. Knowledge means we know. Wisdom is how we apply what we know in a most positive way. I want to take this subject from a personal point of view. As a Hindu priest, I ask myself, what pride do I take in being a priest? I have been brought up in a tradition where my father was a priest. And in that tradition, he wanted me to be a priest, and I've committed to being that. But then I ask myself a question, what are my duties? What is it I must do to become a priest? I realize that I must educate myself in all that is necessary to become a priest. I realize that I must be self-motivated towards this objective, not because my father wanted me to be a priest, not because I'm a Brahmin, not because other people say I'm a Brahmin that I should be a priest. I must have a desire to be a priest and understand the roles and responsibilities that I will undertake when I agree to be a priest. I must realize that one of my key roles is to help in the reconnection of the inner spirit to God for myself and for others. That is, I could be a conduit to help others to reconnect to God or to stay connected to God. I myself cannot pray for anyone, but I can help others to pray. I cannot myself tell God to do something for anyone, but I can help others to speak to God so that He can help them in their own way. And of course, I must learn that there are certain ceremonies in our tradition that must be performed. I must learn all of the actions and all of the mantras, stotras, shlokas, and everything to celebrate those ceremonies and to conduct them in a manner that is meaningful, not only to myself, but to all those around me. And that brings us to how we, as priests, must act in the world. Our attitude in the world is a key factor. It is one thing to wear the right clothes and to have the right appearance. But mansa, karma, vacha, in our mind, our action and our words must all be synergized to the concept that I am here to do one thing. And this is a very important point, that as Pandits must realize that we are not masters of the people, we are servants of the people. And that God has given us this privilege so that we may serve the people through Satya Sanatana Dharma. And that service must be considered as seva. We must never consider that our duty is fee for service, that I must get a dakshina or I must be paid for my service. Not that I should not receive income, but it must not be the priority. I must see myself as a person whose duty is to give service first and then to think of myself. I believe all of our scriptures expound upon this concept that seva is to give of oneself, and the Pandit must be the number one das or dasi to give and to serve at all times. Understanding these concepts of giving service selflessly, understanding that I have to be educated, understanding that I have to be self-motivated, understanding that one of my key roles is to help people to connect to God and stay connected. and that I have to perform ceremonies, I must then ask myself this question: what are the attitudes I must possess? What are the qualities, other than knowing, how do I present myself to the world? How do I continue to be effective in my duty, in my role as a priest? I believe that these are some of the basic things that we must aspire to as Pandits. There must be buddhi, there must be knowledge. And knowledge is not only that I read the Shastras or I've gone to my Guru. I must constantly upgrade, understand, and explore new opportunities and avenues of how do I present the scriptures to the masses, to the individual, that they can accept it easily, without doubt in their mind, without confusion in their mind. So this buddhi of mine must continue to grow. I must continue to evaluate and to change to meet the changing times. Swar, my tone of speech must be of such a nature that will be appealing to the masses. It's not that I must be a singer or I must be the best chanter, but the tone of my voice must have a simplicity. It must be without the arrogance. It must be without the demeaning factor. It must be of a humble state. And that tone of voice carries us from day one to always in all of our interaction with humanity. Bhakti. You know, this devotion, many of us believe that bhakti is an event. When I'm doing puja, I have bhakti. When I'm reading the scriptures, I have bhakti. But in reality, bhakti is not an event. It is an attitude. It is something that must permeate all of our activities, whether we're asleep or awake, interacting with others, with ourselves, with our family, with the public. Bhakti must always be the foundation of all things that we do. So bhakti is a key factor. If I am a priest and I do not have bhakti and I do not believe in what I'm doing, then I'm certainly not a good influence on those who I'm relating to. And lastly, bhav, attitude. It is said it's our attitude that determines our altitude in life. Our attitude has to be one of always positive. Positive that yes, we can make a change, a positive change. We can make a positive difference. Disappointment must not be in our thought process. Anger must not be in our thought process. And our desires must be secondary to the needs of the community, to the needs of the Yajman, to the needs of the Sishya. In conclusion, the Hindu priest must continuously seek to improve his skills and to cultivate the attitude that he is a servant of the people, and to serve them with humility and great pride in the thought that he has been given the opportunity to help others connect to God. I hope these words will add some value to your life and to your profession as a priest, and may God bless all of you. Namaskar. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.